fucking shit.
I'm gonna tell you like this, bitch. If you ain't tapped in 5212, what you really doing? Isaiah Atlas, you know what I'm saying?
Studio 5212 here with the homie Isaiah Atlas. Today he dropped the 27 Tauri album. Tauri.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Nah, that's because I was talking to the homie earlier and I was trying to figure out.
You know what's weird is the pronunciation, and that's cool. We correct it now because there's some people that get it right, some people get it wrong. You feel me? It's a weird word. When I first did it, I actually had to do a lot of research to make sure I wasn't saying it wrong. Because even like the pronunciations that I looked up, I wanted to make sure that it's alright. But yeah, it's 27 Torah.
That's fine.
27 Torah. You feel me? It's gonna be everywhere. Unfortunately, you feel me?
Alright, we'll start right there. Let's start off right there. We'll get into the new project a little bit, but why is it only on YouTube right now?
So what I've been doing, I went on a little tirade a couple years ago, deleted all my music off everything, kind of like rebranding as Isaiah Atlas, right? So I've been like funneling and getting everybody and just being the music exclusively on one platform. Obviously, it's not hard to tap into all of them these days. You know, the internet, we're able to reach a whole different boundary. You know, so obviously I can put it everywhere. But I wanted to build a YouTube over the last year and a half. You know, for the moment of when we finally dropped the project. You feel me? So, unfortunately, you know, with lack of, I wouldn't say lack of timing, but through DistroKid, last minute. You know, anybody who knows the music behind the scenes, when you're doing something, a lot of times they'll run past what you think. So we were mixing and mastering, just making sure everything was perfect. DistroKid don't push it out to 2 to 3 days. Shout out DistroKid.
Sure.
Appreciate it. I should have read the guidelines. I accepted them. I didn't read the terms.
Hey, you live and you learn. You know
but the cool thing is, I looked at it as a good thing because I was still able to like stay true to the date that I wanted to drop on. It's on the platform where everybody knows to find my music, and then it's free. And then, you know what I'm saying, I want to give people the music free, like as appreciation, people rocking with me. And, you know, on Monday, it's going to be out everywhere, iTunes.
Oh, for real?
Everywhere. It's going to be out everywhere, Spotify, so people could choose. They want to go buy that shit. You know, I need gas money.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Go cop that. Go support the new project.
Go buy that shit.
Yes, sir. For sure. Alright, so, well, let's just start off with a little introduction. Where you're from, born and raised type thing.
Born and raised, you know, obviously Colorado native. Okay. You know, very proud, 5280 Mile High.
Yes, sir.
Born and raised in, you know, Thornton, Colorado. Denver, you know, I got family in Denver.
So how do you get the Detroit ties?
So I got the Detroit ties really through family. My people, you know what I'm saying, shout out bro Eastside, you know what I'm saying, Tay, you know what I'm saying, Eastside for real. Sure. You know what I'm saying, shout out to my cousin, you'll be hearing my cousin.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, so it's like, those are my people, and it's crazy because I've known him for years now. You know, probably going on about 6 years.
How long have you been taking trips out there?
Out there, I've been going to Detroit probably for about 2.5 years now.
Right. Isn't it when you go out there, is it strictly music and stuff like that?
Honestly, it's more of like that's my people. It's like that's like my best friend that don't live here. That's my shooter. That's my dude.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like every day we talk on the phone, video chat every single day. Always calling him. You know, Detroit's a different place than here. It's different. Like it's just a whole different environment. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got to get into all that, but it's a different environment. So I call and check on my mans every day. How you doing? You good? And it's been nothing but love. He showed me a side of town that you can't get into unless you're born there. You know what I'm saying? So
going based off you saying that it's obviously a totally different city on the spectrum compared to being out here. What was it like growing up out here for you? Being in Thornton.
Growing up in Thornton, Denver area. You know, I lived like middle class life. You know what I'm saying? You know, I was lucky enough, you know, blessed enough to have both my parents in my life. You know, normal, hardworking people, gone all day. You know, grandparents out raised me type shit.
Being from a similar area over there, what schools were you going to?
So I actually was going to school in like Mapleton District. I started young, went to Meadow Elementary. My grandma lives on that block. Like my grandparents been there forever, 70s type shit. So like my grandma teach there. Taught my dad, you feel me? So like it's like a thing like with my family. You go to school, you walk down the street, from the youngest kids. You know what I'm saying? My nieces were the first ones, you know, not to go to that school, go to school in Denver. They went there for a little bit, and then they switched it up. But yeah, it's like a little weird tradition. School's right down the street, so we all went there, like all the generations. And then I went to school up north. Started getting in trouble at a young age. So my mom tried to put me in the nicer schools, Shadow Ridge, Rocky Top, Century. I got kicked out of. I was in like my third middle school by like 8th grade.
You got any crazy stories about getting in trouble?
Bro, I could go on all day.
Can you give us some?
I was just a Tauri, bro. I like to, I was a class clown. I like to joke. I was always like, I like to play. So I was always giving the teachers the hardest time. Shout out to the teachers that like passed me when they shouldn't have. Like a lot of teachers fucked me on a different level. Like they're like, man, why you like this? Like you got a lot of potential. Quit fucking up.
Yeah,
it's like
it is what it is.
My bad. They didn't realize it. I came from a different home than a lot of people in the area. I grew up in a nice area. I grew up in a nice area. And so it's like I didn't have the same upbringing, so I was way different than a lot of kids.
Yeah.
So
were you just speaking on the obvious? Growing up, did you ever feel singled out because of the red hair, stuff like that?
Yeah. It's funny. I always felt like it made me stick out.
Right.
Like people say the black sheep. I was always the red goat.
Kind of embraced it.
It's crazy. And like from a young age, my mom always told me like I always just stood out in everything that I did. It didn't matter, and the physical being obvious. And what's crazy is like the gene jumps around in my family. My mom's Puerto Rican, my dad's Spanish.
Nice.
There's I'm not white. You feel me? So it's
That's
like the funny thing is I've had people be like, oh yeah, you look white, and then you talk, and then like I'm like, oh, I start noticing features, whatever. I'm like, okay. And it's weird because I have a lot of brown people that they embrace it, I don't even think nothing of it. And then I got people that like, are you white? I'm like, hell no, I ain't white. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm very proud of who I am, where I come from.
Yeah, definitely, of course.
Yeah.
So during that time growing up, when did you start finding this interest in music and more so hip hop and rap?
I was raised on rap music for sure.
Definitely.
My cousin.
What would be like the earliest memory of that? Do you remember as?
I was like
Actually,
when
probably
I started wanting to like get into music. Or
yeah,
like
probably more so like the feeling you had of hearing the song and then actually embracing that shit to where you got to the point where you were like, I want to, like you said, I want to start listening to this. I need to learn about this. I need to know more about where these guys are from. Or
I would say for me, I was lucky it started super young.
Nice.
My cousin passed away going on 10 years this year, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, my man's B.O.P.
Sure.
He was, 20 years older than me, so he put me on music that I was super young. So I got to be a part of the era without being there. Really, like, that's how I felt. Like, I knew music that kids my age never knew. Like, I was in elementary school, like, you know this, or you listen to Mac Mall, or you listen to this or that, and people like, who? They knew like 50 Cent, that's who was hopping as a little kid,
Whoever was popping up.
Yeah, who's on the radio, because that's what they know. But I was lucky enough, my cousin, my mom used to always get mad. He babysat us, he raised us. So she would get mad because he would put us on the music. He wouldn't care if it cussed or nothing. We'd go every Friday. Back then it was Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not that old, but like that just goes to show you then, like they used to release music on the Tuesdays, the physical
copies. Get the new albums and shit like that, yeah.
So we used to go when I was a young kid.
Did you ever go to the stores and
we used to do all that, and I remember like that was my earliest memories. I would go in there and he would pop it in, and I would like open the book. That was the first thing I always did.
Definitely.
I would thumb through the book. And like me, I was a kid then, so like I was more visually and like into
the artwork and shit.
Like I like the bad shit. I was trying to see, some rappers had titties in their books. Some rappers had Eminem. He had just illustration. Like the early Marshall Mathers, Slim Shady projects.
Even like DMX's shit.
DMX, that's like,
You see him covered in blood from head to you're like, what the fuck is this shit about?
Yeah, that was actually,
I need to hear something off this.
That was actually what inspired one of the tracks.
For real? Off the new project?
God is Real, Hell is Hot is the name of my song.
Hell yeah.
Project. So
that's tight.
That's a little thing that a couple people have caught on to already. Like, DMX inspiration with the title.
That's what's up. So when growing up, you obviously got into the music and starting to actually indulge in it and study it and finding your favorite artists. along that, who were those favorite artists that started to inspire you to, encourage you to, or motivate you to actually start picking up the pen and writing your own shit? And
What's crazy is like my cousin and like the people I was around put me on like a melting pot of music. So like I was put onto a lot of down south music early on, like Slim Thug, Boss Hog Outlaws, and then Scarface is my favorite rapper of all time.
Oh yeah, okay. Fuck with that.
And I obviously grew up on tech from a super young age. Like the Ever Ready and Jazz Days. That type of music to everything. From Mac Dre.
Okay.
Too Short.
Sure.
So like my music palette was like always stretched around. Always like my cousin never picked a side. Like I don't fuck with the West. I don't fuck with the East.
Do you go outside of strictly like hip hop and rap? Do you fuck with
Yeah.
some
Oh yeah, dude.
rock?
I love music. A lot of people don't know. Like I collect vinyls. Like I love
That's
listening
dope.
to vinyl.
That's
I
hella
love to
dope.
smoke weed, put some headphones on, and listen to vinyl. So like I have like
You have like an actual vinyl player and
Yeah.
shit like that? Like
yeah, I
that's
found
dope.
like they got them at Target. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
like it's like starting to come back. So like they they capitalize on that shit. So
Definitely.
cop one over there, and then I just get like like I have like Black Sabbath, Johnny Cash to like classic 50 Cent early Game records of singles of just Beastie Boys, everything.
Okay.
So I just love music. It could be
Sure.
jazz. I love orchestral music. It don't matter. I just fuck with it all.
Going back to the Tech Nine, is it true you had a younger brother? You like not forced him, but had him remember the technician pledge?
What? That's crazy.
Is that true? Is that so? Were you like that heavy? Do you fuck with
No,
tech
I
like
fuck
that?
with tech super heavy. What's funny is like my boy Steve. Shout out Steve, little ugly ass. Steve's, what I'm saying, my brother Rad Steve's, Chino, they give me such a hard time about how much I fuck with Tech 9. And for me, maybe it's like more of a nostalgia thing. And for me, I think people don't realize how much of a legend the man's been in the game. He got music with Tupac.
I remember being like young, like super young, and hearing the Michael Myers Halloween sound. Just hearing that, because knowing that, like obviously Mike Myers is a fucking iconic, terror horror movie or type shit. He's a known monster. So when I heard that as a kid and someone rapping over that shit, and then hearing the shit that he was rapping about,
Right.
and then hearing shit like Melancholy Maze type shit where, it's like the skit where he's beating on his chest, spitting bars, like hearing that as a kid. Yeah, I'm like,
seeing like
God damn,
people
this
sleep
fool
on those things.
fire.
Like Tech 9 was doing a lot of things that people are doing now and are credited for. A lot of people shunned him because of his imagery, right? He chose to go with this bright imagery of wearing red, wearing the bishop robe, looking
The crazy
evil,
face
what
paint.
people perceive as evilness, right? And people, if you listen to the music, that it's like the exact opposite. But yeah, so like I would say some of that is true. I would say little bro right here. If you talk about anybody, it probably have to be him. Did I ever make you memorize a pledge?
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I guess there's some truth to that. Hell yeah, I still know the pledge by heart, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's that deep for me. Like, just like if anybody, there's some people who go fuck with Sosa that hard.
Yeah,
For
definitely.
me personally, I remember like at a young age getting put on to I'm a player. I'm talking like
I know.
first, second grade.
My dad used to play that shit for me, and he used to just throw it on around the house because I got that same type of influence from him. Is he put a variety in a crazy wide like range of music onto me as an early kid.
Yeah.
And hearing that, like he would just play that shit, and then my brothers got into it, and them playing that shit. So like I pretty much grew up hearing that shit.
Okay.
So I was like, hearing that stuff, I was like, I fuck with this. This dude is crazy.
Yeah.
And then hearing his story, how he's pretty much, represents Colorado as his like second home type shit. So
See, what people don't know is when like Tech 9 was signed by some of the biggest labels in the 90s. Like when people were trying to mold the gangster rapper, when people were looking for the next Tupac, Easy.
Yeah.
Tech 9 was one of those people that, L.A. Reid took in and was trying to mold, and they just didn't like his imagery. So, luckily enough for him, he met Travis O'Gwen, and they did what they did, and people don't realize how legendary the man is.
Yeah,
I mean, he has a Prince and Michael Jackson sample that got cleared while they were alive.
Yeah, I know.
While they were alive.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know those songs and know those samples or know music like that. But like, you know, so like even in the new project, I got Tech Nine samples in the new project.
Oh, fuck. I know I heard it. I forgot what sample or what song it was. I don't remember the name, but I was gonna hit you up today and ask you, is this a fucking Tech sample in this bitch?
And you know, it's funny, for the record, I never even asked for that sample. It was just something Ghost Kid just did.
I was gonna say, is that something like Ghost Kid did off like
what?
Off his like?
What's crazy is he did it on his own, and that's like an older beat.
Yeah, definitely.
And he just said like he always kept it in the vault. One thing about that man is he could go on, he could sell you beats for the rest of his life and never make another one. Like he had it for a long time, and he just said it never found a home. And then like he's like, I'm gonna send you this, see what you think about it.
That's
and
one
I heard
thing.
it, I was like, this is legendary.
That's one thing I noticed listening to the tape too, or the project, I should say, is when I was listening to it, I was like, damn, who did these beats? And then because I'm like halfway through it, and I'm like, oh shit, that's all one producer, that's all one person. I was like, he killed that shit. Like he was, you know, the first track after the intro, that like posse cut with you and Doty and stuff like that.
27,
that shit goes hard, bro. That and like the way that beat comes in, the way it drops, and everyone just kills their shit.
Shout out that boy Sick Rez and Fall from Austin, Texas.
Definitely.
Bro was there. He was there when we caught the vibe. They performed. And what's funny is these dudes, you know, they're two cats that you visually probably wouldn't expect to do what they did.
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So like they went up there and they did their shit. Like they went crazy. They turned up. And I was like, telling Doe, like, bro, I'm gonna throw him on that song. And he's like, the song with me and you? Like, you know, Doe, he's like, nah, that's just me and you. And I'm like, brother, trust me. Like, and he's like, nah, you're right. That would go crazy. Make that happen. You know, so shout out to them for being so quick and being professional and being quick about that shit and making that shit happen.
Shout out to
Denver, Austin.
Ghost Kid for real.
Shout out Ghost Kid. He's a monster.
Killed that.
And it's rare me and somebody have a vibe like that. Me and him, like we tapped in. My little brother is the one who introduced me to him. Me and Ghost Kid have a longer history together than we know about. My cousin and Ghost Kid have been like best friends since they were like elementary school, middle school type.
That goes back to what you were saying before we started this. Is a fate. It all
and well, that just goes to show you how important it is of how treating people, because life does come full circle and shit comes all the way back around.
Sticking to the Tech Nine stuff still, were you at a concert and you happened to be picked out of like a crowd to do something on stage or something?
I did. I think I know what you're talking about. I did a Herb Phenom show where we brought Herb the Phenom out, and he actually has a lot of features with Tech Nine.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
He was touring with Tech Nine for a long time, and we brought him out from Kansas City. He's a native as well, so he's like, you know, him and Tech go back a long way. So we brought him out in the early years. This was like 13 or 14, I want to say.
For sure.
And so when he did his set, he's like, where are the spitters at? Like, who's going to represent the city? So, come on, bro. Okay. You know how to go to You know how to go up there.
For sure. At what point did you start linking up? Well, what I should ask is, what is Block Art Entertainment?
Block Art Entertainment, so the name is an acronym, actually.
Okay.
Started by, you know, my friend, my best friend, my manager, you know what I'm saying, my homeboy.
DJ, right?
DJ, you know, D-Town Jr., he's an artist as well. Not to be mistaken.
Mixed and mastered
the whole project, and he's on it. He's back-to-back on 2 songs.
Sure.
He mixed and mastered the project, so y'all can thank him for all the beautiful cuts. And I know this man so much, bro. I'm so particular.
Who's not to get sidetracked, but who's on the intro? Is that you? That's bro?
Yeah.
For sure, okay, that's what's up.
That's Antonio Alron. Is that what we called you? We picked a name generator and everything. We made this whole character.
Speak on that.
So, bro's invested in the project for a minute. This is my right hand man, bro.
Sure.
Like everywhere I go, young man's always with me. It's my young shooter. It's my god brother. Like we grew up together. It's my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's my blood family member.
Definitely.
Always been together. He watched me grow. Like he's one of the people who watched the early parts that people don't know about. when I was, 14 years old, like really tapping into studios, really starting to write nonstop. He got to see all the early shit. He got to see all the parts that count now. So it was a no-brainer, he's always so invested.
Not to cut you off, but do those parts include deciding whether you're gonna smoke the whole joint or split the joint up and put it into bowls or some shit?
That's a fact. Yeah, exactly. God did his homework. Yeah, hell yeah. You gotta conserve. It ain't always, you know what I'm saying? When you were a young kid.
I feel you on that.
You talking with dispensaries, you know what I'm saying? My cousin, I ain't gonna speak too much, my cousin got raided, streets was dry, dispensaries was coming in. Come on, bro, we don't got a lot of weed, I ain't have no money. So it's like, I'm smoking up my youngin' for the first time, we breaking this bitch down, we making it last.
Definitely. For sure. Going back to Block Art, when did you start messing with them? And when did you decide to actually link up with DJ and make the conglomerate that you guys decided to
fuck, if I get this wrong, that's gonna be fucked up. But I want to say it's definitely like 2012 for sure.
Oh, damn.
I was coming back from Miami. What's crazy is a girl that DJ used to mess with knew a girl that was like my best friend in high school, and she was like, yo, y'all should link up, like, you're killing it, because I had my first project just came out, like I had a real good buzz in my high school, and she was like telling me like, oh, my friend, her dude's really killing it, and I was like, fuck that, I don't give a fuck what anybody's doing, like I'm doing my shit, you know what I'm saying, being young, cocky, and it's funny because he was saying the same shit too, like ain't nobody at that school going crazy, whatever.
I feel like everybody has a phase where they get to that point where it's like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
in my bag,
like all 10 of my aunties shared my shit. I thought I was on.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So like I was killing it, you know what I'm saying? SoundCloud. And we ended up linking up. He hit me up when I was coming back from Miami. He was like, yo, like I dropped my project, he's showing love. Like we got a link, like I've heard a lot about you. Come to my studio. We linked up and bro, on the spot, like no bullshit, we didn't even say like 20 words to each other, bro. Like it was like kind of awkward. I pulled up, I got dropped off in a sketchy ass spot, my people didn't want to leave me.
Definitely.
No bullshit, my man's was like, I'm waiting up the block for at least 15, let me know you good.
For sure.
And it was all love, walked in the spot, we go into, a little home studio.
Is that the location that I was recently at?
Mm-mm.
No, it's a whole different spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
A different spot. We built a couple of different little studios, from nice ones to quick ones to a little closet to actually trying to build them, so we've been through it together, so yeah, we made a song called Real Recognize Real, and ever since then it's been history.
Sure. And were you making music prior to linking up with him
I was.
at that point?
Yeah.
And is that where the Redheaded Stepchild mixtape and the Higher Influence come in?
Yep. So Higher Influence was with DJ.
Okay.
That was the first project that I dropped under Block Art, so that was like a big deal. Which he also, mixed and mastered.
Nice.
I want people to go find that shit.
Definitely.
That Piff.
Yeah,
Higher Influence. It's under Rocky Red, ROCKIE.
that was going to be my next question. How did you land on the name Rocky Red, and then what made you want to?
So I chose Rocky Red because like my whole life obviously I was called Red, just like any redhead. I used to think it was special, but I'm like, bruh, come on, I ain't a redhead. Don't call me that shit. So like growing up, that was always my nickname. I started that shit super young, bro. Like people don't realize, like I started in a professional studio at like 13, 14.
That's what's up.
So that's just what I wanted. I remember like vividly going back and forth, like couldn't think of what I wanted, and like what do I want to be called, like this got to be it. And I like the redundancy of the 2 R's, you feel me, the double entendre, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I chose that. But it ended up being bad later because obviously Rocky Fresh just signed to Rick Ross, ASAP Rocky, the whole ASAP mob, you know what I'm saying? So like it just wasn't a good marketing, and I was young, and what I didn't know that I just found out, peep this, I didn't know at the time, not right before that, but years before that, Trev Rich actually used to be called Rocky.
Oh, okay.
And I never knew that. I never knew that. And that, like, I found that out through watching one of his interviews.
Okay.
So that was like another thing that wasn't good that I didn't know at the time that I just found out. But I'm like, it all works out for a reason.
Especially being from the
same city, trying to do big shit. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Trev Rich too.
Shout out Trev though. That's like, come on, bro. That's a staple. That's an OG in this shit.
That's a big milestone. I want to say
for sure
for the whole city, honestly,
and everybody. Not even what he just did.
And for what he's still doing.
What people don't want to admit is like Trevor's really been doing it on a large scale compared to other people's, and in his own way.
That he's still, coming back to even favor and reaching out and being a part of the, what is it,
You're talking about who has the favor.
Yeah, who has the favor. I was gonna say who has the mic, but that sounded mad corny. But who has the favor? Yeah, him coming out and still, tapping in with the city and linking up on some shit like that. That shit's fire.
Yeah. Nah, and like I said, Trev, that's OG. Even for me, I'm one of those people, bro. I ain't afraid to admit. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the people. I started so young that there's people that I've always looked up to, and it's crazy because you know what I'm saying. We ain't gonna talk about it now, but there's a couple people look it up to that we get ready to work with.
Definitely.
Trev ain't it, so don't get excited. That's not what I'm trying to say. That was a bad segue, but I'm just saying.
Power moves coming.
The thing is you'd be surprised, bro. Sometimes you have to not only study, but you have to appreciate people for their lanes. And sometimes, for the young artists out there who ain't in their lane yet, who haven't found their sound, who are trying to figure it out, like sometimes it's not easy swallowing the pill that you ain't there yet. And there are people who are killing it. And I used to have that conflict, like, fuck, man, there's people killing it, you know what I'm saying? And then, so Trev Rich is one of those people who, from then to now, is still in that race. And some of the people I looked up to then ain't even in the conversation no more. So it just goes to show you, we were speaking on longevity. It's a marathon.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You gotta be prepared for the long run out there.
Right.
The quick race. Speaking on, people finding their sound and stuff like that, I noticed even from the Redheaded Stepchild project to even now, the new project that came out just today, you found your sound. It seems like you found a little pocket that you feel comfortable in. What made you go with the side of being more precise, I would say, or more technical on your craft rather than being the so-called new mumble rap shit that be going on? What made you be more lyricist, I guess?
Yeah, for sure.
Simple.
And I appreciate that because I do take that as a compliment.
Definitely.
Like I said, just even when we were speaking on my early influences, to me, rap was never a hobby.
Right.
It's a world, a culture, a living, moving, breathing, growing thing that it's really sad to see just the lack of respect and things that are going on. And it is what it is. It's not always going to be appreciated. But I grew up on music where I looked up to these people that they just seemed like gods, right? Like so respected for what they did, and because they did it their way, and it was original and it was just different. So I always tried to have something to say. That's the biggest thing to me. And the biggest thing is, standing on what you do say.
For sure.
I think nowadays, rap is seen as a market just to get ahead and act a goof and be a clown. And it's just wild, So I think a lot of people complain about the climate, but I think it makes the people who do take it seriously just stand out.
Definitely.
So I would say, I started taking it serious when people started taking me serious. I'd say that was the disconnection with Redheaded Stepchild.
Okay.
Because I was in the studio at 14.
That definitely makes sense.
On the clock, no experience. Sound engineer who probably looked at me as a small kid.
I'm barely getting familiar with the music, just to start there kind of, and just from what I've heard and listened to, from the features to everything else, the growth is tremendous, and that I respect that shit.
Thank you.
And you know, just like you, I enjoy the history and everything else of hip hop as like a whole too.
Right on.
It's not just, you know, getting in the booth, you know, like you said, acting like a clown. There's more to it at this point. And I respect that coming from how you separate yourself from the
Whatever
you could say
kind of title you'd want to
or whatever box they're tying all these new rappers into nowadays, to be honest.
Right.
So I want to give you props for that, just off rip, because the growth I hear, you could hear it in the production, the sound, the bars in general. You know, even just the concept of your projects, the way, you know, the new project came about, like having that intro and then tying everything in, and then, you know, the messages in between the lines. You know, you kind of got to read between the lines when it comes to that shit, and actually listen to the bars. You know, you're not just like we were talking about earlier. It's not like the music you just hear in these clubs, to where it's just, oh, I'm here to get fucked up and just enjoy this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's. I think what you're doing is super dope, because it sticks to the roots of what hip hop and rap, you know, originated to be. You know, a lot of the early, you know, founding fathers, they did this shit to send out this message to the youth and, you know, to the generations to come of how this life is, what it's like being a, you know, minority and you know, singled out, being an outcast type shit. Right. So I think it's super dope what you got going on and everything.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that, and what I really appreciate is that you did your homework. You know, like I've left a small crumb trail. You know, a lot of people have been mad at me.
That's what I noticed too. I was gonna say, when I went to go do my research, I was getting frustrated because I was like, what the fuck?
Right.
The only shit that I hear him on is the shit that I've kind of heard recently, coming from like the
whether it be the Money Bags project.
Yeah, the Money Bags project, the Doty shit you got with Doty and just everyone else. Yeah. I kind of got frustrated, and then, you know, till one of my sources, I will not, you know,
shout out to the source.
Shout out to the sources. But yeah, you know, going off of that, once I heard about the Redheaded Stepchild project, that's when I was like, oh shit, there's shit that I could actually go deeper into. Right. So that was
and you know, and like I said, it's cool, and it's funny because the name switch has never been a problem.
Right.
And it's funny, and it's not like I've ever hit it. It's funny because I haven't even checked up on those projects till just recently. You know, I just wanted to listen to, like, you know, my young discography, so to speak. Yeah. And just listen to, you know, where I've made mistakes and where I could have went.
That's what it is. It's
you know, better, and where I could have fixed things, and, you know, so I was like, yo, shout out to Dat Piff, because I'm like, yo, when I dropped my shit had like 60 fucking views and 9 downloads. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So to see my shit's on 100%, views ran up a little bit, downloads are retarded, that's cool, fuck it. It's there, and what's dope is I feel like a lot of people who experience those projects genuinely don't know who I am. Right. Because I think the small people who do know already experienced it. So I think it's cool, because it's like, talking about a young kid, bro, I was a child. I was really young in that bitch, like with grown ass men.
That's another thing. Speak on that, being in the studio with older people, and I'm just playing out barring them. How does that come about? I mean,
you know what's funny is I like to like, you know, be that person, but like it's something I always knew early on. It's an intention I've always had.
Were you?
It's not, but so to speak, it's not coincidental. I'm not so talented.
Were you ever like growing up, like in writing fucking classes or some shit? Like,
no,
were you ever into like poetry or
poetry, of course.
Like, and did you ever do like spoken word type stuff, or was it kind of?
You know, it's funny. It's always been rap. It's always been rap, and I used to use things like that to get my way in school. Yeah, I've always been artistic. I used to always draw, paint. I used to kill it in school. So like where I lacked and I couldn't show up and I wouldn't pay attention, I used to just wing it and use the things I was good at. And there was a couple times where I had teachers like, what? Oh my God. That's the craziest thing ever. And I'm just thinking like, nah, lady, you don't know. That's just what rap would do. It'll grab you like that. So like early on, you know, I always took it serious like that. You know, and the writing to me was always important. That's where it starts.
And then just going based off the older projects, are those the only two other projects you have out that are able to be found?
Yeah, like physical projects, yeah.
For sure.
And with me, I've always been, quality over quantity. And, I just went through a really unfortunate series of things that just kept going on in my life, just a bunch of real serious life problems, that I almost didn't make it through.
So there's a song that you have that I heard was only performed once ever.
Yeah.
Does that song tie into the unfortunate events that you had to deal with?
Yeah. If you're at Ryan Steez's, release party.
Definitely. All right, so that's basically what I was getting into is the Envy City release party.
Envy City was crazy, man.
Definitely. Shout out Steez on that.
Don't sleep on Envy City.
Definitely. Don't sleep on no one that's coming out from
I'm gonna tell you like this, and I don't be like. Sometimes I don't really promote stuff the way I should, because I think people get it twisted. They think just because you're someone's friend or you gotta be a certain way or you gotta nah. I don't share shit that I don't fuck with.
And feel you on that.
Steve really did his thing on NBC.
Definitely.
We're gonna have to come back to that one.
Definitely. All right. So, just kind of speaking on that specific song, can you touch base on that song specifically?
Oh, what inspired it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I kind of spoke on earlier. My cousin, Randy. We used to always call him Bop. As an acronym, big old pimp. He was 6 foot, big old fat motherfucker, and he was for real a pimp, bro. You would not look at him and think bro got, but he got girls. He was really, and he was a cool dude. He was Aries, just like me.
Definitely.
And the more I grow up, I realize we're a lot alike. And, I lost him super young. He was like a dad to me type shit. He really raised me and my brother and my sister. And so, I lost him in 7th grade, bro. And that shit really fucking destroyed me. That shit fucked me up for a long time. I still talk about it to this day it just happened. And I realized with time, things heal. So I went through a lot at a young age that I didn't speak about, normal people didn't really have to go through, My cousin was killed. And, he crashed and he died in a motorcycle accident. And then, shortly after that, just a couple short years after that, my auntie was murdered. And so I was, that was, crazy to me. You're talking, in that that era, you're talking, higher influence eras. Higher influence was already out. Actually, no, I take that back. Higher Influence wasn't out yet, because there are songs on Higher Influence. There's a song on there called Therapy Session, where kind of lack of the mixing and mastering wasn't there. Shout out DJ, he was killing it then, but now you listen to it, it's hey,
growth. It's that growth.
It's growth, and so I went through that, and then going through that taught me a lot about myself. And then just recently, literally shortly after that. I lost my little sister. My little sister died in a car accident, She was only 18 years old.
Definitely.
She's my little partner in crime. That's only been 3 years in July. 3 years passed by. That's tough. That things like that will never change, and I've never spoke on that ever.
Definitely.
And it's hard, bro. And people don't realize, I really appreciate the small people who really fucked with me on a genuine level.
Definitely.
I ain't nobody, I ain't got no crazy fan base, I ain't doing nothing wild. But the people who really supported me and stood there and understood I was going through it, and I was in no position to make music. And you'd be surprised, I had over the course of more than my sister, bro, I recorded a lot of music. And I never put it out. I went to North Carolina, I quit my job. I went to North Carolina for a month, started writing a whole album, never released it. So I have a lot of beautiful music that just with time, it'll come out, and it's being blotted on right now.
Do you think that, not to cut you off, but do you think that music was more so your way of dealing with the situation at hand and kind of your therapy more so to cope with the...
Yeah, I would say so. And what I didn't realize then is, it's a weird thing. Death is weird in general.
Definitely.
it's like, you know, it's a weird concept. You know, we have our ideas about it. Everyone has their religions. And death really don't hit you until you experience it like that. And, you know, I felt like, you know, I used to think crazy shit like, damn, like, why are these things happening to me? And I used to think it was a bad thing. But, you know, where I'm at now and, you know, what life has taught me and things that I've gone through, what I've been able to do through others, like through my pain, I realized, you know, like, not on no cliche shit, because I don't like to think things are meant to be, because that's kind of like a weird thing to think about too.
Think your
that was like
set in stone.
You know, I don't like to think like I'm blessed, and there, you know, there's a kid in another country that's suffering. Like, fuck that shit ain't meant to be.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it's like you really get a grip on mortality and life, and it's just a weird thing. And I was lucky enough that I had people who loved me and, you know, who kept me close. I went through a real hard depression. You know what I'm saying? I was going through tough shit. I was real recluse. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to fuck with nobody. I was angry for a long time. And so the song that you're talking about was directly inspired by, you know, mainly the 3 events I told you about and a lot of other fuck shit.
Definitely.
But that's just life, bro. You know, this shit's unfortunate. Like, there's no luck of the draw. You either get the shit hand or you swoon. And I never asked for no easy ride.
Right.
And I've gone through a lot, and, you know, of course there's things I wish I could change. And, you know, if I could, you know, if you could talk to people one more time, or, you know, of course you would. But
definitely,
even that moment at that show that you're talking about, that was a direct manifestation of, like, going through the worst, right? You lose somebody, you go through depression, you cry your guts out. You know what I'm saying? You go through the worst, bro. Like, there's people who really see me in a bad spot, bro. For real. Like, there's people who, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just went through it, and I didn't want no help from nobody or nothing. I just had to go through what I was going through, right? And so it's like, but to see now like that, all of that turned into just that one tiny moment at that show. You know, that's big. That was my first solo performance since my sister died.
Wow. So
that was 3 years, you know what I'm saying? That I just, you know, so it's a beautiful thing, bro. Life is weird, and, you know, I'm lucky enough to have good enough people around me and to be instilled with enough game and knowledge and to have, like, you know, support from people where, like, I was able to go through those things and come out all right.
True. Off top, just going off that, condolences to you and your family.
I appreciate that.
All that. But not saying that I could completely understand where you're coming from, but I did experience a similar situation to where I lost, like, my baby sister too, and she was only the age of, like, 2 years old. So I understand what the sense is, but what I don't understand is, like, you actually had the situation to where you grew up with the person, you actually created that bond and stuff like that. So just the fact that, you know, yeah, we all go through ups and downs and shit like that, but that shit's just dope how even going through that situation, you still connected it to music. You still used, you know, like you said, music wasn't a hobby for you. Music is more so, it's you, it's part of you. You know, you use music and you need music to, you know, going off this specific situation, you know, you used it to cope, and, you know, you kept it related, and I think that shit's just dope, you know, coming from how you made a bad situation still a super positive situation at the end of the day, because, I mean, going based off just the hip-hop head type stuff, like, I respect that shit, you know, it's the songs like that to where you really get to touch the people that, you know, really fuck with you, like you were saying at the end of the day. So
and see, that's what's like, crazy thing about it is, like, it's been a journey, bro. Definitely. It really has. Like we've done sold out shows, like we've done shows with 10 people, you know. So, like, what I've learned through the years is I just give energy and treat every show like if it's sold out. And I was just lucky enough that night that, you know, their energy was reciprocated. Definitely. And everybody in that room, it was a vibe. We all connected at once. And that's the beautiful thing about music. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody in that room, don't matter what you went through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, even with you, like, you know, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's the thing is, like, I don't ever compare anything.
Right.
You know, people tell me all the time, I don't know what you're going through, and I'm like, nah, bro, pain is pain.
Yeah.
And who am I to say what the meter is?
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody going through some simple shit could be,
The
they could
biggest
be
thing
just
to
as
them.
destroyed as I am about what I'm going through.
Right.
So I'm not the one to make that rule. So, like, the thing is that was the moment that I wanted to create. Was just to let people know how important that was. And people don't even know, like, with that performance, I was so nervous. I've been doing this shit for a little bit.
I was gonna say
we've done some crazy stuff.
that surprises me when you even say you were nervous, because
I was scared.
I see footage of you, and I see the Instagram, and you just linked up when you're with other artists and stuff. You're like one of the standout guys to where you're taking the forefront. So to even hear that you're nervous, like, obviously that was a big moment.
Well, yeah, and it was for a different reason. Like, going out there, obviously that's natural. We would rap all day.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, I was nervous because like I said at that show, like, I had and the people who are closest to me know this. Like, I had like this, I don't even know what I would call it. I just had like this bad thing where I was having dreams. Like, the last show that I did before my sister passed away, she was in the crowd, and like, I vividly remember seeing my sister. Like, she stood out for some reason I didn't know then. And like, what was crazy was me and my sister were supposed to link up after that night, and we didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then literally, like, not even a week later, my sister passed away, and I didn't see her. Like, I didn't follow through with the plans I was supposed to. So I, like, after that, like, I was going through these traumas of like having dreams of like, bro, weird shit, like performing and the DJ doing his job, or performing, having dreams in the mic in my hand, or like not being able, like, just weird stuff that people, I guess, you might not really relate to. So that's why I was afraid, because I always had that like in the back of my mind.
Right.
Like, I always did guest performances. Steve's about to pop out, or Tino would have me pop out, do a performance, or so it was a big thing. And one thing with me, like, I always try to make my performances memorable.
Yeah.
I always try to do something different. It don't matter. The show before that, we were throwing fucking quarter pound in the crowd. But it's the small shit. And so it meant a lot to me that, I seen familiar faces, like people who were there when I was rapping at lunch tables before Redhead Stepchild.
That's dope.
And new people who came up to me and like, I'm a fan. Like,
That's dope. That's dope.
That's
probably the dopest thing.
So
honestly.
like, that's what I mean is like, it all pans out. It's all it's like school. You learn a tool and you learn it for later. So losing my sisters was unfortunate. It still is. But shit, she's still with me all the time. And the thing is shit, we got no time to slow down.
Right.
So it's like we got to keep moving, and you just got to take things for what they are, bro. The punches, life ain't easy.
Going based off the performances and shows, can you tell me about the time where you had sold tickets for a show, turned them in? Because I don't know how it works in any other state, but out here in the city, when you do a show and you're getting put on a local show to be an opener, you have to sell a certain amount of tickets.
Hustle,
right, you have to sell a certain amount of tickets to meet your quota to get your slot time, secured.
Sure.
Tell me about the time. Tell me about the time where you did said things, sold your tickets and all that, turned your money in, and then ended up enjoying, I believe, a meal at Denny's or something, off the same money that you had turned in.
I'm gonna tell you like this. That's funny. That's actually tight. I'm glad you know that, because we don't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna. That one's on Mike Waters. Gabe, that one's on Mike. Shout out to Mike Waters.
Alright, break it down to me, because from what I was told.
Alright, but I'm gonna say this before we go forward. We ain't gonna say venues and that.
Right. Well, yeah, cool. That's fine. Fuck that.
I'm a good businessman, bro. We were young, okay?
Well, yeah, but at the end
we
of
were
the
thug
day,
rats, okay?
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. They get us dirty anyway.
You gotta get it how you live. They talk
gave us
about
a 10
doing
minute
us dirty. They still do us dirty now.
They're still doing us dirty.
But all right, no, we'll leave names and venues out.
Alright, so I'm gonna tell you like this. Long story short, alright, we're young. I mean, we're talking like Redhead Stepchild days, bro. Like, we're just trying to get it in. We're just trying to be on. I'm just trying to be on stage. I'm just trying to do my little thing, And you know, me, my brother, and my cousin. This is like before block art days. They kind of fed us some bullshit like, yo, family, like, I know y'all sold, 70 tickets, but somebody else, bigger than y'all, typical bullshit. You got 10 minutes, you on at this time, so we was pissed, but one thing about us, we always do our job.
Right.
You ain't no copping out. We try not to walk out of buildings. If we walk out of the building, just know you got saved. Like, we didn't jump your ass and go to jail. So, like, we don't walk out. So we get the job done, right? So we're outside taking pictures with our people. Like, we turned up, they're weak, blah. They fucked up your set, it's tight, whatever. Don't be so mad. And my brother's like, Mike Waters, Mikey, man, was like, y'all keep taking pictures. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Was that the setup?
Woo! Ric Flair, woo! My brother came out with a pocket full of money and was like, let's go, fuck them pictures, we gotta go. So we leave and he's like, dinner's on me, and we're like, Mikey, you just talking about how you broke, you just didn't buy me a Hennessy drink, like. Yeah, Mikey took the $70 worth of ticket money. I said it, he did it. If you got a problem, you gotta come get it. But it was a long time ago, and we ain't did nothing like that since. And I actually see the person that we did it to still.
Was that for the New Year's Eve? Was that around New Year's Eve?
Whew.
For the Rich show?
Yee.
And were you?
No, false.
That's
Yee,
not.
that wasn't the show. Nah, it wasn't that show. That's fucked up.
Alright, and was that around the time when you and DJ were serious? Not, I wouldn't say so serious, but out there in the truck with no heater during winter time.
Bro, hey, let's fuck this.
Go ahead. That's
you like Nogbar right now.
But is that around the
Is
time?
that background locked? Because I might have to run out. Don't you ever find out no shit about me like that again.
But is that when you was splitting 7-Eleven cheeseburgers 3 different ways?
Talk about it
With
Bruh.
DJ and shit. So obviously you're familiar with the
struggle, man.
The struggle and the hustle, but because honestly at the end of the day, I think a lot of places like LA and like New York, certain, Florida, maybe Atlanta, a lot of places like that, they kind of it's like easier, I would say, to, put something together. A lot of those places are known for having, their specific sounds and, putting on a certain, type of show. They just have that fan base, I guess,
right.
To where they could just do
like the backing for sure. And I think like what it is, bro, is it's like what we were talking about with like the hustle. So like you're talking about like rap is a market, and then you got the consumer market.
Because honestly out here it feels like it's like 5 times harder than a flagship state to make a lane in the music industry, because you see new rappers coming out every other day from these known places, but how many times do you hear someone coming out from Colorado? And the thing what I'm trying to get to is out in Colorado it seems like we have to put in overtime to be like, hey, come, look at us, look at what we're doing, or to even just get a fucking sense of what's going on. Would you agree with that? Do you think Colorado kind of has it harder than a lot of other places to actually get that recognition? I know you said before, we get our recognition, but it's kind of silent.
I mean, I have a serious no feeling bad for yourself policy. You know what I'm saying? Like, at no point in time will you catch me complaining about the politics. Why the fuck do I care about the politics? I'm not a governor. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. The people who think they control it don't control me, and they don't control what I think is dope, right? So my thing is, like, for me personally, I don't care. Do I think Denver or Colorado, so to speak, has a harder time? I would say so, but I don't think it has to do with music. I would say it has to do with the state. And I don't.
Would you say that, like, in the sense of
having
like
And the reason I say that is the state is like, it's not just in music. Denver got some fair weather kind of people, fam. I'm gonna tell you like this. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows Mike Alvarado, right? When Mike Alvarado was out here giving hooks and putting motherfuckers on nap time, everybody was screaming Mike Alvarado. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Once people started seeing Mike Alvarado and whatever kind of rumors, gossip, weird kind of stories people have about him.
What his whip ended up in.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't even want to go into specifics about it, but I'm just saying, because everybody knows, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, when those things come out, look what happens, right? Every time he fights, all you're gonna see on your local news is how much of a scrub he is, right? Denver. Right? We lose to these Seahawks. Motherfuckers don't even want to wear their shit. We come back on the ass. We secure the motherfucking.
So what you're telling me is a lot of people within the city are kind of they're playing both sides of the fence.
What I'm saying is a lot of people in the city are mad.
They show love, but then they hate.
I'm gonna tell you like this: a lot of people in the city are mad at themselves, and they take it out on other people.
Okay, I can agree. All right. We'll leave that there. We'll just end that with that right there. That's perfect. Because I definitely agree 1,000% on that shit. Just going based off, talking about the city. What do you think about the state of music in the city as of right now?
I love it.
You love it?
I love it, bro.
You're fucking with what everyone's doing, from Steez to Doty to everybody. Honestly, everyone. There's so much shit going on nowadays. I'm
gonna tell you, like, even outside of the camp, I love it. Because the camp, I mean, it's obvious. Like, everybody who's...
Well, who do you consider you're part of the camp?
Oh.
When you say the camp,
who's doing shout-out time? Motherfucking Doty, motherfucking Doja Blunt, a.k.a., you know what I'm saying, intro to my project, a.k.a., they call me Doja, but today I'm pulled up.
a.k.a. Z-Red LaFleur.
You know what I'm saying?
A.k.a. Z Slim Dirty.
That's OG. That's big bro. Quit playing. You know what I'm saying? So
AKA David Ruffin.
Oh, there you go.
AKA
Talk to
David
him.
Ruffin, bro.
Talk to him.
This nigga.
So obviously Doty, you know what I'm saying? Shout out my brother Neelan. You know what I'm saying? My brother Neelan. My East Coast brother. You know what I'm saying? My East Coast white boy, man. He needs to take me to eat in Boston before I have a hard time.
What are you talking about?
Neelan.
Oh, okay. That's where he's from?
Come on, man.
I ain't even know.
Money bags is stacked, bro. People don't even realize. He's stretching it.
I'm not hip to Neelan, to be honest, bro.
And it's cool. And you know what? And I wouldn't even say sleep. But my brother Neelan, he's just in his own lane. He does his own thing. He's not really too concerned about who's listening or what. He just
I seen the video where bro was riding I don't know if it was like a football or something, bro. I'm talking about like a 1 milligram Xanny, or if it was like a perk 30 or something, bro.
I think
bro was in the music video on some futuristic spaceship type shit. Bro was riding a whole
film. Hey, will you grab my phone?
I don't know, but bro.
Is that cool if I go live?
Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, but so Neelan had some serious editing and
shit. When I seen that, I was like,
next level shit.
Bruh's fucking with Chino and shit. I was like, okay, I fuck with what's going on here, bro. But off that just alone, bro, I ain't heard shit from him. I didn't know nothing about bro. I just knew he fucked with the homies.
Right.
And so when I seen that shit, I was like, I respect this. Like.
Nah, so
not even listening to the full song at first, I was like, I respect what bro's doing, because this shit caught my attention, bro.
Neelan's that dude, bro. You know what I'm saying? Neelan's my guy. And sorry, so we Doty, Neelan, J fucking Million. I don't even call him J Million no more. He's J Million. J $1 million. This man.
That's who y'all be getting the beats from.
J Millie's the only producer on Moneybags. I always make that clear every time, because that's serious shit.
That's new to me. I ain't know.
J Millie's working with a lot of dope people. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, fucking Fiji. Come on.
30 World.
Fiji has one of the dopest fan bases that I see every time we go into any.
I'm not gonna front. I'm hip. I'm like newly hip to you, Neelan, Fiji, Kaylin, obviously. Who else? Just those for example for now. Like I'm newly hip to y'all, so when I heard like you, obviously the lyricism was what like caught my attention. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, someone is doing some completely 360 different, bro. Like I was like, fuck that. Like this is what we kind of need out here, honestly.
Right.
And when I heard like Fiji shit, I was like, bruh's low key, like he's like a star, like without even.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, like I gas
so
Fiji
hard,
so
bro.
much.
He goes so hard, bro.
Like,
it's too easy for him to where he's like, I don't even want to do this.
I gas Fiji so hard because it's so effortless, right? Like with me, like everybody knows. With me, like I'm the motherfucker in the group. I'm always giving people a hard time and shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh look, we got Hooli in this bitch. We got Easy in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the gang. Hooli, we was just talking about you.
What's up, no?
You know what I'm saying? But Fiji, bro, I'm always on everybody's helmet. Like, be careful what you do. Be careful how you do this. Like, Fiji, that's little bro. Like, I love that motherfucker so much. He's special. He's so different. You know why? It's because he don't give a motherfucker.
He's so
No, he really don't care about the shit that you and I care about. He don't care about nothing. And the thing is,
the shit that had me. You know how I know he's different, bro? Because this nigga posted a whole picture talking about, I just wanted the Molly to end.
Oh, bro.
And I'm like, bro,
we gotta get Fiji. We gotta get Fiji in this bitch somehow. But
yo, go tell Fiji to hop on the live.
Hey, nah, bro's different. You know what's crazy is I remember Steve's telling me about Fiji a long time ago. And the second I heard Fiji, I just was like, what? Like, it was crazy to me that Steve was linking with somebody like that. Like,
that's what I said.
It was hard to put the face to the voice, right?
When I heard it,
so when I met him, it all made sense. I was like, bro's a star. Like, it's all meant to be.
When I first heard that, I'm a lean drinker and I'm a dope smoker. When I heard that shit, bro, I was like, this nigga goes hard, bro. And then hearing like him, because obviously that was early on type shit. But when he found like his sound, bro, and like everything that he does now, like that fucking Robin nigga, bro. Oh my god, that shit's like a minute something long, bro. But that shit's so fucking hard, bro. That shit is so hard.
I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. Fiji's he's on a different wave. He's on a whole different plane and plateau. And I always try to tell bro, like he's on a wave that people couldn't, but will try to imitate,
Definitely.
So Fiji just got to keep doing everything that he's been doing. Everything he does, bro, is just a smack. My favorite shit to this day is that slime. I mean, that shit's obvious.
That shit is hard.
I mean, when I seen the video, it was crazy. The concept's crazy. Like, I love the fact that he's not afraid of what people think. I'm the kind of motherfucker where I'm gonna just be like, we should be careful. I'm not gonna tell you not to do something. I'm just gonna warn you, like, there's gonna be some repercussion.
Right.
Fiji straight up said, bruh, let's put Columbine footage in this shit. You feel
that
me?
shit was fire.
You can only respect him for just being him and being unfiltered.
Definitely.
So we got Fiji, right? We'll get an attention talking about him. So Doty, Neely, Jay Millie.
Not to cut you off once again, but as you're doing this, kind of explain to us how you come in to make connections with these people.
Okay. So, I mean, to keep an extremely long story short, my brother Steve's like one of the earliest networks and relationships I've had out here. Let's do that. Let's go. First, like the first person you really like linked up with, and then how it kind of just spiral affected into. So, like I told you, like the first person I ever linked up with was Milo. Like me and Milo used to play Pee Wee football together, bro. No bullshit. Me and Milo are gonna have to motherfucking make a track about this, or a song to title this. But our coach used to call it Shake and Bake because we were both like this big, and we were both like the same height, and we were both vicious, bro. We were known for knocking motherfuckers in the next week. Like I told you before, bro, I ain't never afraid to tell somebody when it ain't happening for me. Milo was one of the few people that I used to hate going against. And me and him were so mean that this my coach used to make us go against each other on purpose because everybody. Milo used to hurt people. Milo hurt like 2 people, and they stopped putting him against other people, and they made him only tackle me.
That's hard. That's hard for me to believe because I don't know him personally, just based off of just what I do know of Milo. That's hard for me to like wrap my mind around. Is just
nah, Milo ain't nothing to fuck with. So met Milo early on, shake and bake. You know what I'm saying? He used to let blocks. We were both running backs. We used to block for each other, so we were a triple threat. People couldn't stop us. We were so young. You know what I'm saying? Kids didn't have the moves like us, so they called us shake and bake because we were breaking everyone's ankles, running 100-yard touchdowns. So I know Milo since like 5th grade, bro. And then Milo turned to like redhead stepchild days. Steve seeing my shit through SoundCloud, and Steve's going to school with me. Me and Steve went to school together. He was in 7th grade. I was in 8th grade. He used to say some, you know what I'm saying? He would say some weird shit. Oh shit. Shanghai throwing up the money bag. What up, fucking Shanghai?
Shanghai the GOAT. But going just after Milo and Steve's, is that when you kind of formed your relationship with Chino? Or how
yeah, so once I always knew Steve. Steve stuck out to me, you know what I'm saying? Steve's in school stuck out to me because he was the kid that like he always dressed different. Like Steve was on a wave that like people weren't on that yet.
Definitely, I remember
before like skinny jeans and all that were like motherfuckers started switching it up and doing all the weird shit. Steve was like doing his own thing. Like he would one day dress in some shit that you would find at the mall, and then the next day he would wear, you know what I'm saying, some skate shoes and an outfit that most motherfuckers couldn't do. So he always stuck out, and he was a young kid, and he was a troublemaker.
Definitely. I remember hearing about Steve's when, like, I didn't even, like, know about him at all. I just remember everyone would be like, you know Randy? Everyone knows Randy. And I'm like, bro, I'm tripping. Like, I don't know who bro is.
Yeah.
And then I remember bro was, you know, doing performances out of his fucking backyard.
Yep.
Okay,
that's when bro already had his clout. So like I knew bro early on. Like a little known fact that people don't know. Like bro, I was Steve's first collab, and he told me that. You know what I'm saying? Like so, like he reached out to me on SoundCloud and was like, "You killing it." From Redhead Stepchild was like, "We gotta link up," and we linked, and it's been history ever since. And this is when him, Milo, and Cancerous were KDG, Kid Cannabis, but Cancerous, and then now Uncle Lars, everybody's T.O., you feel me? But yeah, so heard a lot about Chino, obviously, you feel me? I heard he was the hot boy, you feel me? He was the crazy one of the group, and you know what I'm saying? Like Steve's, you know what I'm saying? He knew me like as the person. I didn't fuck around either. He's like, y'all gotta meet, so much alike, blah 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 blah. And me and Chino like linked up like a couple of slight times. The first time we ever met was when I did a video from Higher Influence called Headshot. If you go back to the music, you'll hear a lot of Headshot references from me and Steve's every feature we have.
For sure.
Because that was like the song that we would do shows and people would recite the whole motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
Headshot was the hit, and we took it down because we won't get too deep into it, but the police hit me up and was like, we had a lot of underage people. Steve wasn't even 18. I was barely 18.
Damn.
And we was turning up on some Project X shit. We had 100 people turning up, bunch of little thoughts, a bunch of homies chugging bottles. So they hit me up like, yo, your video's been flagged, and you know what I'm saying, like it's gonna be investigated. Okay. So I went the smooth route, took it down.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? The song is still out there, but we just took the video down.
So when did you and Chino decide to make it more than just like
a mutual
relationship type shit and actually going full-fledged with the money bags? And I know you got a heavy hand in designing the money bags logo for the latest merch that was recently out. I know you guys just got some new shit that you guys are about to drop. But when did that become a serious matter to you, to where you wanted to actually be a part of that?
So I would say the funny thing is I would say like the funny thing is like with that whole thing is Chino kind of I kind of hit him up and was like, yo, I believed in it. Like Chino's a millionaire already. Like, me and him were just on the phone the other night before 27 Tauri came out. And I just, I tell him all the time, like, you a millionaire waiting to happen. He's one of those people. He's just different, bro. And, like, money bags, everything came out, the merch, and, he was showing love. And, he blessed me with some gear and whatnot. And a lot of people thought I was crazy. And I just out of nowhere was like, I'm gonna get money bags tattooed on me.
Did you?
I did. And
that's dope. Cause I know you're into tattoos in general. Obviously, right. You got majority of your body covered, right?
Right. I got like the whole, whole front side of my body almost covered.
That's dope.
And so I hit him up and I was like, yo, what do you think if I got money bags tattooed on me? And he's like, what? And I was like, I want to get, money bags tattooed on me. Like, I believe in you. Like, I told him, like, I see your vision. I know it's real. And, as your friend and your brother and, somebody who's worked alongside you, we didn't make music with each other yet at the time. We were talking about collabing for a long time. Like, years we were going, see each other, bro, we got to work, blah, blah. And never, so I got it blasted on me, and bro was straight up like, bro, do it at my brother's shop. I'm gonna pay for it. Nigga, you gang, like,
oh, yeah.
You gang. You know what I'm saying? So like, it was a big thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was tripping. Like, all of a sudden, everybody was hitting him up. Like, we're gonna get money back. Hoes was like, I'm gonna get money back tattooed on my ass. We was lining up like immediate tattoo sessions. People were like. It was like a thing, like people were like, yo, what the fuck?
Definitely.
And then obviously he already had it,
Right.
He already had his shit on his head. So, and then from there, I've always drawn and painted. And he just was seeing that I was doing art. And he was like, he asked me before this, like, I want to, put you on like money bags, like sponsoring. Then it was only Fiji and Steez.
Right.
They were like the only two artists that were sponsored by Moneybags, right? And so he straight up just was like, like let's do it. Like, I believe in you too, and I see you moving. Your flow is different. You're way different. Like, everything about you is different. Like, let's do it. And then he just was like, what the fuck? Create a logo for me. And then I did the snake. The MB, and that's where it started. And then from there he was just like, yo, I gotta make you, like, let's do it, we one day just were talking about it. We would start spending like every single day like plotting and creating, and I was, I had a whip and I was driving him around, and he would, we were conversating, and he would, take me out to eat, take care of me type shit, and he just would be like, you know what, bro, like, we need to just do this shit 50-50, like, let's just get it, like, you know what I'm saying? I trust you, and you're different, and let's make it official. So we did, and since then, I've been kind of like the creative part of it, and he does kind of like, obviously he's like the head, so he does everything, and I'm more of like the creative, like lead creative on, what goes down and whatnot. Obviously,
like
shout out, aesthetic, Gustavo. He's not to be mistaken. I didn't create this. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Gus.
Shout out Gus. You know what I'm saying? He's the GOAT. He's another one putting on for the city. So, you know what I'm saying? He did that and the Benjamin. And so, you know what I'm saying? After that, I just started designing. You know what I'm saying? I did that one with the heart and my bag on my.
So that's who you guys linked up with to.
Well, that was originally Chino. That was before I was in the picture.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the new shit that's about to be coming out is.
So everything since like the MB with the snake. Jay Millie did like the Monopoly print, where it was the money bag hand and then the MP.
So how long would you say you and Chino been locked in for?
The beginning of the year, I did a post for my 1 year with money bags, but me and Chino been like, we've been friends for 3 years already, 4 years type shit.
And then so by that time, I imagine like Fiji's come around at this point.
Yeah, and so I like met Fiji only a couple times, just like at shows and a couple times with Steez. Like, Fiji lived super far.
Yeah.
Motherfucker lived on the mountain. Yeah. So he was just hard to get with. So I didn't see him much at those like early times.
Would you say when Fiji well, when it became mutual between you guys, would you say it was just like how it was for meeting Steez and
Natural,
Gina?
yeah.
Natural.
And you know what's cool is Fiji and Dodie are like the only, some of the few people like I was fans of before I was like friends with.
So you knew of them?
Because like I'm very close with Steez. Like
right.
you know, I'm like, you know, I look at Steez like a little brother, so he would always call me for like advice or to tell me good news or tell me a move. So he's like, I got this artist, he's going crazy. So I was hearing Fiji from when he first, you know, before it was official money, Mentally Rich. You know, so I kind of always knew about him. So when I met him, I was like already a fan of what he was doing.
So, would you say? Well, all right. Let's get into how you met Dodie. When was the first time that you were introduced to him, and how Dodie, being the eccentric person that he is, how did you get close to him? Because it's not easy to get close to someone like him.
Right. So like with Dodie, I told you off camera like mine and Dodie's experience initially before I knew Dodie.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is like Dodie's a real life legend out here though, because I knew Dodie before I knew Dodie.
That honestly, that goes for a lot of people that are
like a lot of people. Dodie's a Twitter legend. People just know Dodie before they know him. So like I knew him through the grapevine. I was in the scene. I would like lightly keep up what was going on. I always knew of Dodie. So like to finally meet him, you know what I'm saying? It was dope as fuck. And then like I was already, you know, fucking with some of the music. I'm not gonna front like I was like dove in.
Right.
You know, I wasn't like.
Oh no, there was what's the famous line that Dodie had that everybody knew? It was some shit like some hating ass old head, I'm gonna fuck your daughter or some shit like that, bro.
Yeah, so
every time we pop out in like the city, like when we was just mobbing with like the homies and shit, everywhere we went, niggas was like screaming that like bar to him, and like I remember that's when I knew like it was solidified that like the city got
it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing about this rap shit is people try to force their way in, and it would never work. People will literally. Sorry to say it, like there's some people that they're gonna waste their whole life.
Definitely.
Quit it, fam. Just do what you're good at. And the reason I say that is because like the people gotta choose you, bro.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Dodie so special. Is like
he's something else, bro.
It's different.
He is definitely something else, bro. And I've had like the personal like experience to be able to like get to the point to where I call him my brother type shit.
Right.
Like this may sound like super like corny type shit, but like my mom was always like, she was always in the field of like taking care of like toddlers. Like she did daycare type stuff. She like was always like doing shit for like the community, volunteer work like that. But like for some reason my mom always wanted to like, she always like talked to me about like adopting a black stepson. So it was kind of this thing where like she would just talk about it so much to where it was like I kind of always wanted like it sounds fucking crazy, but I wanted like a brother, exactly. I wanted a brother. So like when Dodie came around, bro, and like we hit that shit off, bro, it was crazy.
Like it's meant to be.
Yeah, it was like hella meant to be, bro. And like when he started living with me, it's crazy, bro. Like me and Dodie got like super close to the point where like, you know, like how you and Chino got, bro. Like it was to the point where like I would go pick bro up, you know, he would live with me, you know, like we were together like every day, bro. So that's why like what I see going on in the city now, bro, I'm like that shit is so fucking dope. Like this is what we need,
really
bro.
it up and see like
and we're touching all parts of like, you know, the city, bro. Like you're from a different place, you know, as close as everyone was, bro. Like Steez is from a different type of part of the city. Dodie's from, you know, a different part of the city. I'm from, you know, a different part. Everybody, Fiji, like you said, bro, lives on a mountaintop, bro. Like,
shit,
it's so dope to see, like, the city is actually, like, coming together to one place.
One thing I've always said, and people could quote me on this motherfucker, I've always said, bro, that the day Denver really gets their shit together and comes together, like, we're gonna be like the motherfucking Cali in the 90s. And
it's gonna be a breath of fresh air.
I'm just happy. I don't care what anybody says. I'm happy to say that Moneybags is at the motherfucking forefront of bringing
I can respect
the
that.
biggest artist,
Yeah.
not a couple, the biggest artist from known to not known in the building together as a conglomerate to just create a machine that can be stopped.
Definitely.
And that shit to me is crazy because for the longest people talk about they want unity and this and that, but people can't do it. I've seen it a million times over and over and
It
over.
is, what I always like went by is, it's, you know, not went by, but, you know, the saying goes is, you know, it's easier said than done, to be honest. At the end of the day, you know, you gotta actually have everybody put that effort into
Right.
actually tie everything in together. 'Cause, you know, one person, all it takes is for one person not to, you know, be a part of the, you know, the bigger picture, and then it's,
And then yeah,
you know,
and see
shit
that's
falls apart.
the crazy thing is like Chino's the one who had the vision. See, it kind of started as Chino was. I mean, Chino's a hustler. Chino gets to the
Yeah,
money.
definitely.
So he used this as like, come on, I'm gonna make, and I can do it like this. So I'm gonna do the clothing thing, right? It's a hustle. It starts like that. It's a vision, right? Bro, one day had the idea like money bags, like it's a mentality. People a lot of times get confused like money bags mean you got money and it's extravagant. Not like money bags is a mind state.
Yeah.
You feel me? It's like I always say I got money bags under my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm motherfucking tired. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a mind state, right? So it's crazy to think that a hustler, what somebody could consider as a troublemaker, whatever they want to say, somebody who come from a fucked up environment, Chicago, survived that, comes here, goes through some shit, and decides like I'm gonna change my life and I'm gonna do something different. It turns into him taking two of the biggest artists at the time, putting them on, sponsoring them, like nothing, not like this shit ain't a label. People be
Right.
thinking it's just a label. It's not a label. You know, it's he started like just sponsoring them
that
more
shit's
of like
low key a lifestyle.
and so like
Honestly,
it
you
started,
said,
you know,
it's
and
a
then
mentality.
he put me on, you feel me, and then it was like he hit me up and was like, bro, we gotta get Doty in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? And obviously before Doty was Jay Millie and Neelan. They came like a package. It was like the draft. We was lucky to get both of them. And the thing is like then he hit me up like we gotta get dope, like we gotta do it, and I'm like, bro, make that shit happen. What the fuck?
What I like is everyone that, like, at this point now that a lot of the people at the forefront, like you were speaking of, they've been doing this shit for a minute.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's damn near perfect timing that everyone's finally like tapped in with each other and, you know, really fucking with each other to the point where, you know, I've always said that everyone that's doing something got a different type of fan base.
Yeah.
You know, so just the fact that you say you fuck with somebody, you know, you're giving that other artist, you know, X amount of fucking, you know, listens, viewers, followers, whatever it may be, at the end of the day, just because, you know, the city's fucking with each other. And that shit's not only going to benefit you, but everybody else at the end of the day. And, you know, why wouldn't it be that way? You know, at this point, it's time for that
And see,
shit.
like, that's the thing is, like, a lot of people try to create these machines, and they try to create conglomerates or, like, a team, and it never works because, like, you got the ego, and then you got the one person who's the middle person, and then you got the this and that, and then it always falls apart, right? And so, like, with us, that was, like, it was never the motive. Like, Chino never was like, oh, I'm gonna nitpick this shit, I'm gonna create the greatest Madden team of all time,
Right.
motherfucking overall on 103, motherfucker. That was never the plan. It was just more of Chino just having the platform that he created was like, I see something in everybody for individual reasons, and like, how can I, as a friend, as a brother, as somebody who makes music myself, as a fellow creative, like, how can I like amplify that? What can I do to make that bigger? You know what I'm saying? So that's the beautiful thing about it is like, it's mutual. You know what I'm saying? It's a symbiotic relationship where it's like, you got the artist and then you got the business of like the clothing line.
Yeah.
Right? So it goes hand in hand. It's just beautiful to see what it's grown into and what it's become and the moves we've made and you know what I'm saying? So shout out to that boy Chino.
Yeah,
Man.
bro, shout out
Hey,
Chino, free Chino.
Free
Oh, for real,
Chino.
bro.
Hey, can we take a shot though for real?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Chino,
Go ahead,
you know what I'm
bro.
saying? Like free my my brother, man. And like we were talking earlier, like no bullshit, bro. This is the hardest shit I've ever had to go through. You know what I'm saying? Damn. We doing a double shot of bro there. Y'all trying to tap that? Y'all good? They're like, that's the middle of the day. I'm gonna tell you like this though, like that's my brother, like that's my business partner, that's my best friend, that's my dude. So you know it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Money bag,
free Chino,
caskets.
Free Chino off rip.
My bad.
My bad. Goddamn. Free Chino.
Free the blood, man.
Alright, before we wrap things up, let's touch base on the new project. 27 Tauri.
27 Tauri.
Alright, for sure. Make sure I get that right. 27 Tauri. Let's start off with the title for the name. What for the people who obviously listen to it, the intro kind of gives you a rundown of the meaning. There was a promo video you had out that gave you a real deep inside look on the real meanings, but for the people who don't or who haven't tapped in really, kind of just give us a brief rundown of the 27 Tauri and how that came about.
So like with me, like I've always had like a real big fascination, you know what I'm saying, with space. I've always like thought like just the mystique behind it. It's something that can't be explained.
Right.
And since the beginning of time, people have tried to figure out. So like to me, like it's crazy, and like you know some people look at space for different reasons and they're into it for different reasons. And I'm one of those people who thinks you know it all has everything to do with each other. And I don't even mean like no horoscope shit, but it's crazy because like it's like a fingerprint. Like everybody who was born, the sky was doing something different every, you know what I'm saying, every day that somebody you know came to be. So it's like it has something to do with everything, right? Everything that we know has to do with that, specifically space. So like I've always just had a real big fascination with it. And 27 Tauri is a name or like a classification for a star that's also named Atlas.
Oh, okay. So
that's why I chose it, because like when I started the promotion and I started doing I deleted, like my Instagram started like popping. I was traveling everywhere. I was going out the country. Like I was turning up. Like I was just enjoying life. And it was looking good. And like I had a couple people, like little bro was mad at me. I deleted all my shit. And people didn't know why. Like I literally wiped my shit clean. Blacked out my shit. So people were like, oh fuck, this boy sad again. He about to delete all his music. I better just download that shit before So people were freaking out. So like I had a marketing scheme. I knew from the jump how I was gonna promote it and how I was gonna present it.
So is this something that was premeditated during the transition of the name change from Rocky Red?
Nah.
So this is after the fact.
This is like alright. So
when was the idea brought about? Like when did you decide like alright, this is the project,
and
this is what I'm gonna do?
The wild thing is everybody knows me to be like so methodical, and so like I sometimes might overthink things. You know, like I was telling you earlier, like I had a project that never came out.
Right.
So like I literally was just getting studio time from Ghost Kid every other couple weeks. Like me and him were really hitting it off. He produced Rap Baphomet, On Go, like,
and that's the
we
shit
were really turning up. Like me and him, we just had a vibe. And I never met anybody who could create based on my emotions. And he would create every beat you've heard from him live right in front of me.
Going on a little side note real quick. Rap Baphomet, Shanghai shot that video. Shout out Shanghai. He's a goat behind that lens.
He's literally the lens god. That's what we always bullshit each other in the messages and call each other. And you know, he's the lens god, bro.
So touch base on that a little bit. How did you and Shanghai come about?
So I met Shanghai at rap shows, you know what I'm saying? Pulled up with him, would see him on the scene. And I won't forget the first time I met Shanghai. He stood out to me because he was like, he looked like he didn't belong in the scene. Like he stuck out. Like He didn't look like a target. He was
Right.
a lick.
Right.
But he just stuck out.
Right.
He wasn't supposed to be in the spot.
Well, I feel like everybody, at a certain point, everybody knew that he was fucking with Steez.
Right.
Because even for me, I met Shanghai, but I didn't know that was Shanghai.
Right.
So I kind of understand what you mean by like
A lot of
he
people
stood
think
out.
he's an Asian dude.
Well, I just think I didn't know who Shanghai was. I just like the name
Cultural
is
appropriation.
the name kind of just stood out to me, and then when I seen his work, I was like, this is so fucking dope.
Yeah, he's a monster, bro.
And so the first time I met really met Shanghai, and I still didn't even know it was him, was at the Chapo show, and he was shooting.
Yep. I would say that's like around the first time I met him too.
Okay, for sure. And then after that, like I didn't know that was bro until I came across like one of his social medias.
I take that back. Chapo ain't the first time, but I met him like, you know, just like you said, going through.
The thing, like the reason why I fuck with Shanghai is because I fucked with his work before I even knew who he was. Like I knew the name, and I was
you saw what he was doing.
Yeah, and I was like, this shit's fucking dope. So I was like, I fuck with bro.
So
he,
like you
he
met
is,
him. I mean, not met him, but like you were introduced to him like through like Instagram.
his work, yeah.
his
Like I seen the shit that he was doing for Steez and like
Social media,
Virgos
bro.
and stuff, and I was like, this shit's fucking hard. I was like, I fuck with this tough. So like anytime he's working with somebody that I fuck with too, I'm like I get excited. And so going back to the rap Baphomet shit, that video was dope. Especially the promo leading up to that shit. Even for it being the first time y'all linked up, that shit was dope.
See, I've been giving you a bunch of gems, so I'm gonna give you another one. Rap Baphomet, the final that Shanghai did was not the first music video.
Oh,
So that just goes to show you, like, as an artist, as a creative, like, nothing's final. Experiment, have fun, figure shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did some shit that I thought at the time was dope, and I'm glad I didn't do it because, you know, there's a common thought process.
Right.
You know, so I'm glad I never put it out. You know, there's Gabe was mad at me that I didn't put the shit out. He was like, bro, we put all this time. No bullshit, we dug a All right, so check this out. We dug like a fucking hole.
I buried man alive.
He buried me alive, literally.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, buried me. We spent all day, we dug a hole. It was a Sunday too, huh?
This is for a video that didn't get put out.
It didn't get put out. And we did this whole thing. These motherfuckers literally buried me, like, literally the whole face, dirt in my teeth, still rapping, dirt in my mouth, dirt in my eyelids. Bro, I'll never forget the whole verse I had like a whole entire rock. We should put that footage out, huh? We should show people like what it takes to get the shots that people are like, oh, that's cool. I might share it. Bitch, you better fucking share it. I have a fucking rock in my eye. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people don't realize like the creative effort that we put in. So we put a lot of work in. We did a whole bunch of dope shit, and I literally out of nowhere was like, nah, we're not putting it out. Fuck that. I don't like it. And everybody was like so mad at me, like, how could you do that? Fuck no. Like, I'm talking about like my team. Like everybody was like, bro, we spent so much. And I'm like, nah, fuck that. You know what I want? I want a lyric video. So you know,
that's where that comes from.
My producer being the great motherfucker, you know, shout out D-Town Jr. DTJ, the motherfucking great is what I like to call him, the mastermind. He does everything. He's the Dr. Dre of Denver. People don't know it yet. You know, he spoils me. My man take care of me.
Definitely.
He's really always had it down for me.
He put that lyric videos.
Yeah, he's done everything, like the video with me on the bike. Everything that you see.
Oh wow.
Everything that you see and hear since literally 2012, which most people can't find. So everything that you see and hear is from DJ.
That's dope. Going back to the new project, what made you decide to have Ghost Kid produce everything? How did that get decided?
We were already like, we were hitting it off. Bro's like super creative, like he's a goat. He's another person who's like super, he's like out the way, doesn't fuck with a lot of people. Hard to like, you know, he's elusive, so it's like, I really respected that part because I've heard so much good things and I've known about him over the years.
Those beats on that project are crazy.
And I appreciate that because we really did something crazy, so no bullshit. People I probably should let the project breathe, but fuck it, like, people gotta realize, like, bro, I was in such an inspired state that literally the whole project came from like a 4.5 hour session where like I came to him and I'm like, yo, I don't want to record today. Let's make a beat. And then he was like, bro, you're bringing such a inspiration out of me, and I can see I'm doing it with you. He's like, I'm gonna crack you a deal. We made a agreement, and he was like, I'm gonna do these many beats for you, and whatever we get done is what we get done. And we produced the whole project in one sitting, like literally one sitting of just based on emotions of how I felt. One thing about Ghost Kid that I appreciate is I'll come to the studio, I'm like, bro, I'm trying to be on some sad boy shit. Boom, he'll break out the guitar, piano. I'm like, bro, I'm trying to shit on these motherfuckers. He'll go on some evil shit, we'll get some samples. So it was all organic. Like he really told me straight up, like, I believe in you, and I know you're gonna be big, and like we got, like, I fuck with you different than anybody I've ever known, and we gonna make something happen. And it's vice versa. I really appreciate him and fuck with him on a different level. Definitely. And so, like I said, we produced the whole thing in one sitting. I wrote to it, and 27 Tauri literally came. Like I said, I spent like a whole year with this intricate project, made like almost like 20 tracks, super fire music, but I never put it out. And out of nowhere, just that one session, I hit a DJ and I'm like, we're doing a project, this is what it's called, we're moving forward. And he's like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you can't just decide one day you're gonna do this. I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. So he's like, alright, whatever, we're doing it. So that's it. Like, it was produced in one sitting. I recorded the whole thing, not to be mistaken, I recorded the whole thing, so it was produced by Ghost Kid. I recorded it all at Unit 12.
Okay.
Almost all of it. Probably like 96% of it at Unit 12. We did all the songs there. And then, I'm very selfish, so I have DJ mix and master everything. I don't let nobody touch my shit. Nobody's touched my shit.
So everything that's came out is through DJ?
Everything.
Oh, yeah.
For as long as probably you almost look back. Higher influence, forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just touch on a couple more things. How did you decide the features for the new project? Was it something that was just like you decided as you went along, or was it something that was like, all right, I need these specific people to be on this? Like, you knew it was determined already that who you wanted to have on it?
I would say, like, honestly, like, the project was like super selfish at first. Like, when I first started writing, like, it was like almost gonna be like a whole project of just me.
Okay.
And then, like, when I started listening back and started doing the creative process, I started doing, like, I'm the kind of person where I'll be like, if you're in the studio, if you kick it in the studio with me, bro, you on the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no kicking it.
Yeah.
There's no thoughts in my studio session. Shout out to my girlfriend. my beautiful girlfriend.
Yeah.
Ain't no thoughts in the studio session. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a show. Like, this ain't the circus, bro. We don't do that shit. So if you in the studio session, if you somehow make it in the studio session, then you might just randomly get put to work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's random. So sometimes I'll be like, you might sound good on this shit. Let me hear your vocal. And it might be somebody who don't even care about that shit. I might just give anybody a shot. So it's like, with me, like I said, I love music. It's all sporadic. So it just kind of comes with it,
For sure. Just an ending side note, is there any videos we should be expecting to come from the new project anytime soon?
I mean, so like, of course, like, you want to think like, what's the most popular song? Like, what do people fuck with the most? I've already like had my creative direction made up.
So you know what video or what songs you're gonna be doing videos to?
Yeah, we already know. It's already in the works. It's already, you know what I'm saying? It's happening. With me, like, I try not to announce because it don't matter.
For sure.
A little bit of game people need to realize is 90% of people don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? 5% of them motherfuckers want to watch you fail. 3% care. 2% are there for the entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Hopefully that's the right math. I think so. I think we're missing 2%. You know what I'm saying? Like, people really don't give a fuck. So that's the thing about it. It's like you just gotta hold them blessings, gotta hold them wins to the people who give a fuck. So, you know, just know I'm always working. You know, the people who keep up with me, they see I'm always in the studio. People be like, "Where's the music? You live in that bitch. Where's the music?" Just know, like, we're correcting and finding prints and everything. Like, I don't want to just put anything out. I'm not that artist.
For sure. Well, I think that's a good way to end it.
Yeah.
Touching base on everything. Shout out to everyone. Fucking shout out, bruh. Atlas, check in. Tune in to the new project, 27 Tauri.
27 Tauri, man. 5212. I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. If you ain't tapped in, if you don't know what we were discussing,
Yeah.
you behind.
Yeah.
What's the deal, bro? Detroit East Side, you feel me? Detroit East Side, free Yama, free 30.
Everything I did was OT. Out of town, overtime in the game from the nosebleeds. If you out of bounds, they gon' both squeeze. 1,000 rounds, RIPs.